Okay, so our contest for next week is going to be 3D monsters. Alright, so you're going to do something kind of like this. Probably won't get this detailed. You're only going to do this in your free time if you get a chance. But we're going to go ahead and click on AutoCAD, and I'm going to show you some things to kind of help you out. Alright, so as you're doing some things in here, you'll notice that the extrude has a couple other things underneath of it. So let's start with Loft. When you look at Loft there, what it says you have to do is create a couple of cross sections to be able to do some things like that. I'll show you something really quick to make it kind of fun, and then we'll get a little more creative. All right. So let's start off with something like a circle. We're going to put a circle here, right? We're going to draw a circle there, and let's just say it's a 1/2 inch in the radius. We'll also go ahead and make a rectangle or a square or something like that somewhere in this area here. And then we'll add that, and we're going to go ahead and just move that so it's out here a little bit. Oh wait, I want to keep the ortho on for now so everything stays in the correct plane. Move that about right there. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is when you loft something, if you looked at this, you have to loft. This little thing comes up and it shows you that it goes in the direction that you want. So you have to create all these cross sections. So that's what we're doing now, is creating cross sections. And I'm going to move this right here. I'll move this up this direction. All right. And then I'm going to copy the, click copy. I'm going to copy that circle right there, and pick an arbitrary base point out here and copy it up that way. So now what it looks like that we're looking at this thing, let me move this again with the ortho still on in the Y direction. So it looks like these are all on the same plane, but if you clicked on front right now, you'll see that those are different. Even though they look like a line, that's a circle, and that's that rectangular shape. Alright, so then when you click Loft, right, you have to loft in your cross sections in order. So in lofting order. So I'm going to click the bottom one first. You can do the top one first, but then you have to do the middle one, and then go all the way to the other end. So you see it lofts between those those three shapes there, whatever those cross sections are. You right click and enter, and we're just going to select cross sections only this time. All right. So if we switch this then to something like realistic, you'll see that happens. It's kind of gray. Let me double click it though and do something fun like change the color to yellow, and let's get out of that, and you see that it makes like a banana. Alright, so that's something you could do there with that. So I'm going to switch this back to 2D wireframe because I want to show you how we can do some other things here. We'll start by drawing a circle right here. Let's start by making it a 2-inch circle there. That would give us lots of room. I'm also then going to copy this same circle. I'm going to copy it straight up in the Y direction. So let me do this. I'll click copy, right? Click a base point over here, and I'm just going to copy it up. And every couple of inches or so, I'll kind of drop one in place like that. Now, what we're going to try to do is make a horn here. And so I'm going to click this grip, and I'll click that and make the grip go in a little bit there. So it's going to get, they should get progressively smaller as we go up the horn. So I'm just clicking grips and moving them inward. So let's do this. We'll make this one. I'm going to click that grip, and we're going to go in so it's really, really tiny. So it's really small there. This one down below it, I might want to make that one a little bit smaller, like that. Okay, so now you'll see that kind of that shape, they get smaller as they go up. But what we're going to do here is, just to make it fun, we're going to go ahead and click this grip, and we're going to move this one out this way. We'll move this one back this way. We'll move this. We'll leave that one right where it's at. We'll then click this one and move it out this way. And we'll leave this other one right where it's at, okay? So this time when we do the lofting, when we click loft, we'll loft this and go from this one to that one to this one to this one to this one, and then to that one right there. It creates that little path that it follows along. But we're going to right click and enter, and it's still going to do cross sections only, and it creates that right there. But in 2D wireframe, that's not much fun. But when you switch it to realistic, look at that. That's a pretty awesome looking horn. Right, so you'd have to you could do that horn there, something like that, and I can change colors of it or whatever. If I want to double click on it, I can change the color and pick something else. Let's see, you can pick any one of these colors. Let's select a color, and we might say we want it to be a little more, maybe this color kind of brown right there, something like that. So that gives that a cool look to it too. Okay, so that's something we can do there. And then if we wanted to get really nuts, we could just click on it, copy it, and make 2 horns. Oops, I meant to click copy. I think I can just click move. Copy and make 2 horns. Now I'm going to leave that there for now. What we're going to look at next is this revolve one, right? And revolve, as you do that, you see it creates you can revolve around a surface. So let's do something here. Now, if you've ever noticed something like Pac-Man or Grover's head kind of works this way. So, or, Elmo, those kinds of things. So let's start by, we'll just create a circle. Doesn't matter. We'll make it about, let's say about that big for now. Since there's no real, this is just a contest for fun. It doesn't have to be accurate unless you want it to be. We're just going to go from here over to, say, here. This quadrant over here, all right? And we'll go ahead and trim this part off right there, all right? Now, we can go ahead and we'll type p-edit again because we want this all to be one piece. I do believe it is. Yes, make that a polyline and join it with this other one here, and right click until we get to where we can enter that. And let's see, so that's all that. So now when we click revolve, you revolve around a center axis. So we'll click revolve, and we're going to click this piece right here. We select our objects, then we're done selecting, we right click, and then it asks for the center point of our axis. So we'll go from here over to here, and you'll see that this kind of comes around this way. So I can make a mouth automatically by putting that kind of thing in there. Alright, so we created that, so there's a mouth on that piece right there like that. Alright, so you can do that kind of thing there. Let's double click and do something fun, and we'll make it, say, red. Alright, now I've got these 2 horns over here, and or maybe you use those as tails or something like that, I don't know. But to manipulate this, you have to be able to manipulate your UCS. This is where this gets kind of fun. So with our ortho on, you see that those aren't where we want them to be exactly. So I'm going to click move, and I'll click on move. I'm going to move both of these together, and I'm going to use the, you have to leave the ortho on so you're moving in the correct plane, and you're going to switch views to move this stuff all around. So we'll move this, and we'll kind of come over here, right? And so let's see, you'll see there I've added these horns onto this piece. Let's look in the front. See, they come into that part right there, so they're showing up in the mouth, and I don't want them to be there. So we'll switch to this view here, and we can go ahead and click move, and I'm just going to do a crossing across both of those, and I should be able to move these things up a little bit. And if I go too far, they'll come right out of the skull there, but that looks pretty good, so I'm going to go with that for a minute. And that's how you would manipulate things around there like that. So let's switch this back to wireframe, click on home. I'm going to make sure it's parallel, so that's good. So that's what that looks like. The other thing then, we'll look at sweep here. And sweep's a little different because you create a path for something to follow. So I want to create a path. So let's say I'm going to do some big long tail off of this thing. I'm probably going to want to switch this so that this goes this way, and let's create a circle on that plane that goes like this. Alright. Or these can be tentacles or something like that. You might combine this and this to get to the end when you do something, to try to do something fun. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and click on, we can click Spline or click on Polyline. I'm going to click on Polyline, change my UCS. Before I do that, hit Escape to get out of there. I'm going to change my UCS and go back to World. Then I'm going to click on Polyline, and I'm going to go from the center point of that and turn my ortho off. Since I'm only drawing in the XY plane, I'll do that, something like shape like that. Then when I do p-edit, I'll p-edit that, and then I want to click spline then, which means I could have probably used that one up there. Oops, undo that. So I'll do p-edit and click this and do a spline and then hit escape. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and switch this to the realistic stuff. So when you see, when we try to do this, when I do a sweep, it asks me to select the object to sweep, so I'm going to select that circle right there, right click and enter, and then I'm going to select the path, and I'll select that path right there. And you see it adds that kind of a shape. I can make that an arm or something like that if I want to. But then I'll just go ahead and see, it wasn't even where we thought it was. I thought it was back behind it, and it was over here in front of it where I started. So that's why you got to switch your views to manipulate things to move them. So I'll try moving that about right there. Looks like it's probably over top of it or something, so I'll switch to looking at the front. See, it's up over top of it. So I'm going to change my UCS this time to go front. Nope, it's right side that I want to do. I'm actually looking at this because I want to see the XY plane in the thing there. My UCS icon. Click move here. Move this down this direction there. So looks like I might have some kind of tail or something like that sticking out of it. So that looks better than it did before. Alright, so that's kind of those three things there. You can do that, and you can always, I'm turning the grid back off, and click on this, change your colors to whatever. If I want the tail to be blue, I could do that. The other thing we can do is we've already started kind of fiddling with stuff. Let's see if we go into visualize. We should be able to do things like add materials. I'm trying to remember where that's at. Insert. We can add materials and stuff by clicking on Materials Browser there. And take a second for this to pop up. But we've got different materials we can add to it. I've had kids that have been in this class before that have become very much specialists on materials, and we can do all kinds of different things here. So if you're looking for something specific, or you can make things, so let's say I wanted to make it chocolate. See that? I can make it there so it's chocolate. I can just take that, drag it, and you should be able to drop it right onto that, and it'll make it so it's chocolate. Looks like chocolate. So that's some kind of flow of chocolate. Let me undo that, and let's go back here. Let's try something like chrome polish blue. That might look good. So that one probably won't look so good, even though it's supposed to look blue. Kind of does there a little bit. It's more about my lighting at that point. So I'll undo that one again, and let's try something else. Dark green. There's a bunch of different stuff here, so you can see you can make it look like glass if I wanted to. Different kinds of glass, expanded metal, stone. I can make it look like stone, concrete, exterior stucco, warm gray concrete might be cool looking. Oh yeah, look at that. So it looks like concrete. So I don't know, maybe make some kind of rock monster or something like that. I don't know. But that's what those are some things you can try to do to add materials and those kinds of things. And then we'll have you make a monster, and we'll make the monster, and the monster will be due next Friday. We'll have the contest, and it'll be at the end of class. And that's it. Let's try to have some fun and learn something, try something new. Get as creative as you can.